I never thought the biggest betrayal in my life would come from the one person I trusted most, my own sister. My name is Elena, and for 20 years, I stood proudly beside my husband, General Marcus Hale. A 3-star general in the United States Army, our life looked perfect from the outside. Elegant military balls, respected friends, a beautiful home filled with photos of our 2 children. But behind the salutes and polished uniforms, cracks had been forming for years. I just refused to see them. It was a warm spring evening when everything started to unravel. We were hosting a private dinner at our residence on base. Crystal glasses clanked, soft laughter filled the air, and Marcus looked every bit the respected leader he was, tall, commanding, with that quiet strength that always made me feel safe. My younger sister Sophia had flown in for the weekend. She looked stunning as always, in a sleek black dress, smiling that bright smile that could charm anyone. "Don't embarrass us," she whispered to me earlier that evening while fixing her lipstick in the mirror. "This is important for Marcus's career. Just let me handle the conversation if things get awkward." I laughed it off then. Sophia had always been the dramatic one, the free spirit who danced through life while I built something solid. She was my little sister. I had protected her since we were kids through bad boyfriends, failed jobs, and every mess she left behind. I thought this weekend would be no different, but as the night went on, I noticed the way her eyes lingered on Marcus a little too long. The way she touched his arm when she laughed at his stories. Small things. Harmless, I told myself. Until they weren't. Later that night, after the guests left, I found Sophia in the study speaking urgently on the phone. Her voice was low, trembling. "Please, just delete those messages. If this comes out, it will destroy everything." My heart skipped. I stepped back into the shadows before she saw me. That was the first crack. The first moment I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. What secrets was my sister hiding? And why did it feel like they were about to swallow my entire world? The next morning, Sophia pulled me aside in the kitchen. Her hands were shaking as she gripped her coffee cup. "Elena, whatever happens today, promise me you'll stand by family. Blood is thicker than anything." I smiled and hugged her, but a cold feeling settled in my chest. I didn't know it then, but that hug was the last time I would trust my sister completely. Marcus had an important meeting scheduled that afternoon with high-ranking officials. Something about an internal investigation. He seemed tense, but when I asked, he just kissed my forehead and said, "Nothing I can't handle." Love. If only I had known how deeply Sophia was already involved. As the day unfolded, pieces started falling into place in the most painful way. Old emails, whispered conversations, financial records that didn't add up. My sister hadn't just come for a visit. She had come to cover her tracks that led straight through my marriage and my family's hard-earned reputation. I stood at the window watching Sophia speak to Marcus in the garden. She was whispering again. That same desperate whisper, "Don't embarrass us. Marcus, please, we're family." He looked at her with a calm I now recognize as controlled fury. That moment froze in my mind forever, because what he said next would change all of our lives. The truth hit me like a storm I never saw coming. Over the following weeks, I discovered that Sophia had been systematically undermining my life for years. It started small jealousy that turned toxic. While I supported Marcus's career and raised our children with love and stability, Sophia had been feeding information to people who wanted to damage his reputation. She had been involved in a scheme with a disgruntled officer, leaking minor details, spreading rumors, even attempting to create the appearance of an improper relationship to force Marcus into a vulnerable position. Why? Money, resentment, the desire to pull me down so she could feel superior for once. I confronted her one rainy afternoon in our living room. Tears streamed down my face as I held printed emails in my trembling hand. "How could you?" I whispered. "I gave you everything. Money when you needed it. A place to stay. My trust." Sophia's face hardened. "You always got everything, Elena. The perfect husband, the respect, the beautiful life. I was tired of living in your shadow. Her words shattered something deep inside me. The sister I had protected had been stabbing me in the back for years. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. Nights became sleepless. I would lie beside Marcus, wondering how much he already knew. Wondering if our entire marriage had been tainted by her poison. Marcus remained quiet at first. He was investigating internally, protecting the family as best he could while gathering evidence. But every time Sophia saw him, she would pull him aside and beg in that same trembling voice, "Don't embarrass us, Marcus. Think about the family name. Think about Elena and the kids." Each time she said it, my heart broke a little more. She wasn't protecting the family. She was protecting herself. The emotional toll was devastating. I stopped eating properly. I cried in the shower so the children wouldn't hear. I questioned every memory with my sister, every laugh, every hug, every "I love you." Had it all been fake? Yet through the pain, something else began to awaken inside me. A quiet strength, a resolve I didn't know I possessed. I started documenting everything. I stood taller. I looked Marcus in the eyes and said, "Whatever comes next, we face it together." The betrayal broke me, but it also rebuilt me. I transformed from a woman who blindly trusted family into someone who understood that real love protects, and sometimes that means exposing the truth. No matter how painful. Sophia kept calling, kept texting, kept whispering her desperate pleas. But the more she begged, the clearer it became. She had chosen this path, and now justice was coming for her. The day of reckoning arrived during a formal military inquiry. Sophia stood in the corner of the room, pale and nervous. When she saw Marcus at the head of the table, she rushed to him one final time and whispered urgently, "Don't embarrass us. Please, Marcus. We're family." The entire room fell silent as General Marcus Hale looked at her with calm, unyielding eyes. His voice was steady and powerful when he finally spoke. "Sophia, the only person who has embarrassed this family is you. Your actions, your lies, and your betrayal end today." He presented the evidence, irrefutable documents, recordings, and financial trails that exposed her scheme. Not with anger, but with the quiet authority of a man who had dedicated his life to honor and truth. Sophia's face crumbled as the consequences unfolded. She lost relationships, opportunities, and the respect she had desperately tried to steal from others. The perfect justice wasn't destruction, it was truth brought into the light. I sat there watching, tears in my eyes, but not from sadness, from release. In the months that followed, I chose forgiveness not for her, but for me. I rebuilt stronger. My marriage grew deeper. My children learned the value of integrity. And I finally understood that protecting your peace sometimes means letting go of toxic ties. No matter how much blood you share, if there's one lesson I want you to carry from my story, it's this: betrayal by someone close cuts the deepest, but it also reveals who you truly are. Rise above it. Choose truth. Choose strength. And never be afraid to let justice speak when someone tries to shame the life you built with love and honor. Thank you for walking this journey with me. If you've ever been betrayed by family, know that you are not alone. Healing is possible. Justice finds its way. And sometimes, the quiet words of a good man can deliver the most powerful justice of all. End of story.